Once again, running a little bit late. Uh, I can't blame it all on the rain, but uh, anyway, I see lots of people on Facebook this morning marking themselves safe. I believe there's probably a great deal of wild weather going on for many people, and I hope everybody is safe. This is kind of in the West Coast anyway. It's kind of uh, exciting in a bad way. Weather events going down, and so our thoughts and our good juju are with you all. Uh, I'm going to talk a little bit about uh, the 16 court cards of the tarot vis-a-vis the 16 Myers-Briggs uh, type personality type indicators. Now, Crowley, in his Book of Thoth, if I can find the right page, treats the court cards as personality types. Okay, now the court cards, there's 4 court cards per suit, but 3 of them, the knights or kings and the queens and the princes, not the princesses, but the princess, uh, king, queen, prince, each represent 30 degrees of the zodiac. So you can, but it's 20 degrees of one sign to 20 degrees of another. I talk about this all the time. So it's a mix. It's a 30-degree period in the zodiac, but it's a mix of zodiac signs, and those zodiac signs, of course, are attributed to elements. So it's an elementary mix. Okay, it's sugar with a dash of salt, or you know what I mean. Uh, and there's 12 of those. Then the princesses, because of their special Kabbalistic relationship to the aces, are sort of left out of that personality type mix. Okay, and I'm going to give an example what Crowley says about the Knight of Wands, which is fire of fire. And well, this is the Knight of Wands in our Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, and I'm showing you this because, as you can see, it's the period of time we're in right now. 20 degrees Scorpio to 20 degrees Sagittarius. It goes all the way to December 12th. And there we see the I Ching equivalent of fire of fire. Now, there's different ways of treating these trigrams, and they may not be identified as the Chinese description that says fire may not be the same word that we think of when we think of fire, but the equivalent, the I Ching equivalent of the trigrams in relationship to the elements are like this. Okay, so there's the fire of fire I Ching hexagram, which is called the arousing, and it's very explosive. Okay, and it's loud, and it frightens people and makes lizards scurry around the walls and things like that. And I often tell the story where I was reading tarot cards for the attendees at the Book Expo America many years ago, and I was using my deck, and I've been doing it for a long time that day, hours and hours, and I really had to pee, and the line just wouldn't wouldn't stop, not because I was famous or anything, but free tarot readings, you start shuffling your cards, they line up around the block. Uh, and so court cards for me are very hard to, or at least many times are hard for me to interpret, you know. And finally, I just was giving up. I wasn't being a good tarot counselor at all by the time this lady came up. And I was about ready to give up and just confess, look, right now I'm a phony tarot reader. And but anyway, the first card that came up was this Knight of Wands, and I didn't know how to handle it. And I eventually just said, well, shit, lady, does this have anything to do with the black horse? And I was throwing myself at her mercy. And she said, oh my God, my husband sold a racehorse to pay for the bookstore that I'm here buying for. It was a curious thing, but I digress. Here's what Crowley says about the Knight of Wands, just as an example. The Knight of Wands represents the fiery part of fire. He rules the 21st degree of Scorpio to the 20th degree of Sagittarius. He is a warrior in complete armor. On his helmet, for a crest, he wears a black horse. In his hand, he bears a flaming torch, a flame also in his mantle, and upon the flames does he ride. His steed is a black horse leaping. The moral qualities appropriate to this figure are activity, generosity, fierceness, impetuosity, pride, impulsiveness, swiftness in unpredictable actions. If wrongly energized, he is evil-minded, cruel, bigoted, and brutal. He is in either case ill-fitted to carry on his actions. He has no means of modifying it according to circumstances. If he fails in his first effort, he has no resource. And then he goes on to talk about the I Ching hexagram, the arousing. And I sort of liken it to a very powerful missile, a rocket. Okay, that's very powerful. ICBM. It can really. Okay, but if it isn't shot in exactly the right direction, all of that energy goes amiss, okay? And or if the spark isn't just right, he doesn't have a game plan, doesn't have a plan to, okay? Okay, all of that is just to say that modern psychology has what's known as the Myers-Briggs type indicator. It's a personality test that categorizes people into 16 personality types. Introversion, or introvert, or extrovert, I or E, or a thinking personality, or a feeling personality, a T or an F, or sensing, intuitive, okay, it could be S or N for intuitive, and judging and perceptive, okay, or JP. Now, there's a mix, okay. If you mix those all up, they give you 16 personality types. And there just happens to be 16 court cards. This time, the princess gets on board, okay? Now, I looked up and just sort of the Wikipedia or someplace. No, Nothing too Myers-Briggs esoteric. And here's what I came up with. In places, it's remarkably similar to how Crowley describes the personality types of the court cards, if they would come up in a tarot reading. But others, not so much. But I like to keep in mind when I'm reading tarot cards, I like to keep in mind, at least in the back of my head, the Myers-Briggs personality types. And there's a whole science behind it, which ones are compatible in a relationship and stuff like that. Believe me, I'm not an expert there. But I'm just going to quickly read through this for your own edification today. Starting with the Knight of Wands. Okay, I got to get this in the light. Knight of Wands is an E. Okay, that ENTJ. Extrovert, intuitive, thinking judge. Okay. Fire of fire. Frank, decisive, assume leadership readily. Quickly see illogical and inefficient procedures and policies. Develop and implement comprehensive systems to solve organizational problems. Enjoy long-term planning and goal setting. Now that's just kind of the opposite of what Crowley would say. Well, if you don't hit the mark when you shoot your wad the first place, you're wadless for a follow-up, okay? But usually well-informed, well-read, enjoy expanding their knowledge and passing it on to others. Forceful in presenting their ideas, and that would definitely be a Knight of Wands. Okay, Queen of Wands would be water of fire. And that would be introvert. Water of fire, and everything else the same as the Knight. Have original minds and great drive for implementing their ideas and achieving their goals. Quickly see the patterns in external events and developing long-range explanatory perspectives. When committed, organize a job and carry it through. Skeptical and independent, and have high standards of competence and performance for themselves and for others. Now, if I recall, that's very close to Crowley's description of the personality type of that Queen of Wands. Prince of Wands would be the air of fire, and the Prince of Wands would be an ENTP, extrovert, and intuitive, thinking, and what's the other one? Perceptive? Yeah. Okay. Prince of Wands. Quick, ingenious, stimulating, alert, and outspoken, resourceful in solving new and challenging problems. Adept at generating conceptual possibilities and then analyzing them strategically. Good at reading other people. Bored by routine. He's air of air. Crowley even's got this, not air of air, he's air of fire. Air keeps fire going, okay? You blow on a flame and it feeds it, okay? But I digress. Adept at generating conceptual possibilities, then analyzing them strategically. Good at reading other people, bored by routine, will seldom do the same thing the same way, apt to turn to one new interest, one right after another. Okay, that's our prince. And the Princess of Wands, which would be introvert, intuitive, thinking, receptive. Okay. And look at that. The I Ching hexagram is finding nourishment, or the opening of the mouth. See, she doesn't have dates associated with her. So the Myers-Briggs gives you a little extra information about the princesses, okay? Princess of Wands. Seek to develop logical explanations for everything that interests them, theoretical and abstract. Interested more in ideas than social interaction. There's that introverted part, okay? Quiet, contained, flexible, and adaptable. Have usual ability to focus in depth to solve problems in their areas of interest. Skeptical, sometimes critical, always analytical. Okay. Now, of course, I'm not going to read all 16 of these for you this morning. I just wanted to point out that you can broaden, if you're a tarot aficionado, you can broaden your understanding of court cards, especially when you're going to use them as significators to identify actual people in your reading. If you're familiar with the circumstances of the question, either in your own reading for yourself or for others, it might help you actually spot particular individuals that are involved in the issue at hand. For years, you've looked at the Knight of or the King of Wands as a father figure, a darker father figure, and the Princess, the youngest child, or so that works too. Please don't ignore the obvious. But I've found that many people who wish to read tarot cards for themselves or for each other are really hard-pressed to find a significator card that they can really, really connect to. And their birthdays just don't seem to get it. Or you don't connect to any of those, the 12 card personalities. You might be a princess of some kind, okay? And the Myers-Briggs characteristics allows you to go through the Myers-Briggs 16 and go, I'm one of those. And then when you find out that you're sort of you could look at the Myers-Briggs 16 and go, hey, I'm one of those. And then you can look at that's a Queen of Cups. That's who I am. That's who I'm going to identify with. Or I'm the Princess of Cups, which you can't even find in a birthday breakdown. So you're not only a Princess of Cups, but you've got that extra bit of magical information that joins you with the Ace of Cups, because you're the throne of that ace. I'm probably not communicating this very well to you this morning, but I carry in my tarot bag, okay, not only do I carry, court card dates, I also carry the I Ching hexagrams and just an abbreviated, oh, look what I've got for Knight of Wands. Boo! Scared you, didn't I? Scared everyone else too. Ha ha! Because that's what the I Ching actually goes, ha ha, for this one. It's only natural. When you've got your poop together, you should never really be afraid. That's the Milo translation of that I Ching hexagram. But then I got the dates and stuff. These are my sort of pocket cheat sheets for all of this. And I also have the 16 Myers-Briggs breakdowns too. It's part of my arsenal of tarot-related things, especially for the court cards that I find so difficult in a reading. Anyway, that's it for today. It's a very wet day, but I hope everybody out there is doing their best to stay in, stay warm, stay dry, and I'll see you tomorrow for Saturday morning cartoons. Until then, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law, love under will. Oh, by the way, I'm a Queen of Cups.